Title. Tomorrow night we were expecting live heavyweight action here on Setanta. However, Steve Bunce, all of a sudden tonight, Ruslan Chagaev, Nikolai Valuev is off.
Yeah, it is. There's been some breaking news, quite shocking news from Helsinki. Chagaev has failed a pre-fight medical. Bear in mind, twice last year he had to pull out of fights against Valuev. They were rematches because they originally fought in 2007. Twice last year he pulled out, and he was named the champion in recess. Valuev manages to win the title, make a couple of defences. Big fight was set for Helsinki tomorrow night, and there were concerns this week, as John Rawling, our commentator, mentioned. Chagaev never showed up for a public training session. Most people just put that down to the fact that perhaps he was late coming in, or perhaps he had other duties, perhaps he didn't want to work out in public. He's a very private person, but we're now finding out that he's failed the standard pre-fight medical, and according to Finnish authorities, Finnish boxing authorities, they will not disclose what's wrong. But he has failed the medical, and the fight against Valuev Chagaev has been cancelled, and the entire show has been pulled, been dropped.
Let's just take a second then just to let the dust settle, because everyone watching at home expecting a world heavyweight title fight tomorrow will be in shock. There'll be huge disappointment. In terms of the WBA belt now, what happens? Because Chagaev was the champion in recess. What happens now? Who's next for Valuev? Will he be forced into a mandatory very soon?
Well, first things first, Valuev will remain the champion ordinary, or whatever, the WBA, or the disgrace at the moment. Okay, what will happen? It's quite simple. We'll find out what's wrong with Chagaev.
You think we'll find out?
Oh, we'll eventually find out, or he'll be stripped of his, in recess championship belt. But the WBA at the moment, for instance, the WBA have got 3 super bantamweight world champions. I mean, they're a bit comical at the moment. Our brothers from Caracas, they're not playing fair. So until we find out what's wrong with Chagaev, assuming it's just a straightforward injury, until we find out what's wrong with Chagaev, we can't really pass comment on what will happen. If it's a straightforward injury, if it's a cut, or if it's an irregularity with his bloods for whatever reason, then what will happen then, provided it's not illegal, whatever's happened, no suggestion it is, then that fight will be rescheduled, and it will be here on Setanta. The 2 big boys, I was looking forward to it. The Uzbek guy against the Russian.
Weren't we all? You know, Evander Holyfield had a ticket ringside tomorrow. They could have got him in there.
Yeah, that's rubbish, Andy. I've told you. When they list all the stars that are going to be there, they announce them. They're never there. That's just the way it works. Frank Sinatra's still ringside in Las Vegas. The crowd go mad. They're stupid. He's never there. He's been dead years. Trust me, Andy.
I trust him. Let's get back to action now. Let's get baback ringside with Craig Stephen. To the big news, though, of course, tonight, if you're just joining us, tomorrow night, the world's heavyweight title bout between the big man,
Nikolai Valuev against Ruslan Chagaev in Helsinki.
Big fight tomorrow night. It was expected to go ahead live on Setanta. However, Chagaev has failed a medical tonight. Huge shock in the sport of boxing. Steve Bunce, you've had 10 minutes now just to let the dust settle and to think about this.
Find a toilet.
Indeed.
And what
your reaction?
Well, my reaction is that the more I think about it, the more surprised I am, because Chagaev won the first fight. It was a bit of a bore. It was a bit of a maul. It was ugly, and I fancied him to win this one a bit more impressively, because I think Chagaev has realised that to be a top quality heavyweight at the moment, you need far more than just having that belt around your waist. You've got to be a bit exciting. I think he might have been the first man to try and wear down Valuev. If he'd have managed to do that, that would have elevated him slightly, because let's get it right. These big Eastern Bloc lumps, they need some elevation. Why is everyone crying out for David Haye? Okay, they're crying out for David Haye because they want something different. That's why they're crying out for David Haye. In the last 5 years, there have been 8 Eastern Bloc fighters who've held a portion, a block or 2 blocks of the World Heavyweight Championship. And I'll tell you what, Andy, you need about 1 second to tell me how many great fights those 8 have been in. They haven't.
Hey, nobody needed
Tomorrow
this.
night could have been the first one.
Yeah, the WBA didn't need this. Heavyweight boxing didn't need this. This isn't good for anyone.
Don't feel sorry for the WBA. They're in Caracas going crazy. They've got 3, as I said about 10 minutes ago, they've got 3 super bantamweight champions. That means they get 3 sanctioning fees when those guys fight. By the end of the year, the WBA, in addition to having 16 weights, they might have 62 champions. That's a spoof. So don't feel sorry for the WBA. Never stand or sit anywhere near me and say, oh, you've got to feel sorry for the WBA. Stuff the WBA. They've made this mess. Let them get out of it.
I just feel sorry for the viewers at home looking forward to the fight, but do stay tuned.
And the fans in Finland.
Indeed. We will keep you updated. We'll try and get to the bottom of this story at some point this week. If not before, we'll find out by the Bunce Hour next Thursday. In the meantime, let's turn attention back to the action. Tonight, let's get back ringside once again with Craig Stephen.